She had this fuzzy, fuzzy hair, so her nickname always, when I was growing up, was Fuzz.
Frances Loretta Warham was born in Edmonton. Her parents were Edward Warham and Keitha Bonesteel.
So Keitha and Ed Warham had 4 children. The eldest was Harold, and then my mother was Frances, and then there was Vivian, and then the young brother was Bill. So they were in Edmonton, and he opened up a jewelry store and had 2 locations at one point, West Edmonton Mall and downtown on Jasper Avenue. And he was a watchmaker, and he repaired watches. And that was a very successful business. My mother had an older brother, a younger brother, and a sister. And the older brother and younger brother worked in the business their whole life. So it was a good business. It supported them. My grandmother was an incredible merchandiser, I'm going to call her, in retail. She really had an eye for a beautiful store and how to set a table. And I think that's where my mother got the talent of a beautifully set dinner table and dishes being right, and the fork and knife, and the knife and fork being in the right place, and all those things.
Frances was a nurse and graduated from the Royal Alexandra Hospital School of Nursing. When she was just a teenager, Frances found true love with a young pilot named Clarence North Sawle. In her later years, Frances was interviewed about her life.
Even though I dated North throughout my late teens and early 20s, I still went out with lots of other boys, which was the custom of the day. Of all the boys I dated, I consistently liked North the best. He was tall, very military looking, although he was never in the military. After he grew out of his awkward teenage stage, he looked much like Errol Flynn. In fact, even better looking. But I loved him for more than his rugged good looks. I could see the value of this man, how much better he was than the rest. It wasn't just me either. Everybody loved North. He would do anything for anybody, and always a smile and a laugh. He was someone you could depend on.
Frances married North Sawle on April 20th, 1938.
Looking back, one of the greatest gifts I ever received in my life came to me at the age of 15. It came in the form of a young man with a special twinkle in his eye. Even though his life was cut short, the years that we had together made my life more meaningful than I could have ever wished for. North Sawle was the love of my life, and I am a better person for having been loved back by him. Certainly, as a couple, they wanted to have children, and because my mother only had one kidney, it was not an option in the future for her to have a baby. Adopting children in those war years was not difficult, and so actually my mother, the connections there were quite different than they would be today. I mean, her best friend was the obstetrician, and it was kind of like, keep your eye out for the nice baby when it comes along. My father spoke openly about wanting to have a daughter. So one morning, they were in bed having a very lazy morning because they'd been out the night before partying, and the phone rang, and it was their friend Reuben. He told me, I'm going to read this in her words, he told me he was at the hospital and had just delivered a beautiful baby. So he came over, and my mother made pancakes, and he was saying that he explained there was just one catch with this daughter, this female baby that had been born, that there just wasn't one baby girl available. There were 2. When North found out there were 2 babies instead of 1, he was doubly pleased. My mother said, I think if there had been 6 babies, he would have thought that was a great idea too.
On December 13th, 1942, Leslie was born, and Linda 5 minutes later.
Without a doubt, my most rewarding role in life has been to be the mother of 2 exceptional daughters. I did my best and tried to make life fun for them. I tried to capture some of the joy that I received in my life and share that with them. I don't know if I always did everything right, but when I look at them, I know they grew up to be the kind of women that I am proud of. The happiness that my children have brought me is something that I didn't expect, but I gladly embraced.